Yeah, Joe.
Thanks, Karine. We are approaching the statutory deadline for the president to submit his budget to Congress. The deadline is the first Monday in February, which is 2 weeks from today. So when does he plan to submit that budget, and will we do it before that deadline?
Joey, it's a good question. When we have more to share about that budget process, certainly we will have that to share with you. The OMB is something that the OMB is working, an issue that the OMB director is working very hard on and very closely on. Once we have more to share, we certainly will lay that out for you. Good, Karen.
Has the president invited the Justice Department to search his home in Rehoboth, Delaware?
I would refer you to the White House counsel's office, who will be speaking with all of you pretty soon.
Okay. And on January 12th, in response to my question, you told me the search is complete. He, the president, is confident in this process. But since then, the searches have continued. More documents have found. Is the president still confident in this process and how his lawyers have carried out the search for material in his residences?
He's confident in this process, and my colleague has talked about this. This is an ongoing process, and we've continued to provide the information that we've had at the time. Anything else, specific underlying issues on this or questions that you may have, I would refer you to the White House counsel's office.
And a non-process question then. We had a poll with Ipsos, ABC News Ipsos, that was taken before the most recent items were discovered that found that 64% of Americans believe the president acted inappropriately in the way he handled classified files. How worried is the White House that this issue is hurting the president's trustworthiness in the eyes of Americans?
Look, our focus is going to continue, basically what I've said to your colleagues, on delivering for the American people. That's going to be our focus. That's what the president's going to do every day in and out, which is what can we do to make the lives of Americans a little bit better. And that's what he has done. And I've laid out the historic pieces of legislation that the president was able to do, some of them in a bipartisan way. And many of the pieces of legislation that have passed by his economic policy plan has changed the lives and will change the lives of millions of Americans across the country. That's going to be our focus. I'm not going to go into, a rabbit hole or go into details or thoughts about polls. That's not what I'm going to do from here. What we're going to do is talk to all of you every day about what our message is to the American people and continue to have that healthy back and forth and talk about our policies, talk about what the president is doing again, every day with the vice president, with his team, to make sure that we deal with issues that truly, truly matter to the American people. Just yesterday, you heard from the vice president in Tallahassee, who talked about an issue that mattered to the American people. We saw that, right, coming out of the midterms, which is making sure that women's rights were being protected. When you think about Roe, yesterday it would have been 50 years of Roe, which was a constitutional right for Americans. And so that's what Americans want to continue to see us do, fight for their rights, continue to deliver in a way that they can feel it, right? When it comes to gas prices, bringing those